You were standing in a crowded ballroom in Zurich, swirling a glass of vintage scotch that costs more than most people earn in a year. The air is thick with the scent of expensive perfume, aged mahogany, and the quiet, vibrating hum of unspoken power. To everyone else here, you were a titan of industry, a philanthropist, a face on the cover of magazines. But when the man in the charcoal suit brushes past you and whispers the word apogee into your ear, your pulse doesn't quicken, it slows down. That is the first thing you learned when you were elevated to the inner circle. Fear is for the subjects, precision is for the rulers. You set your glass down on a passing silver tray and walk toward the back of the hall, not looking back, knowing that the cameras have already been looped and the security detail at the door has been instructed to look at their shoes as you pass. The elevator doesn't go up. It descends 30 floors into the bedrock of the Swiss Alps, a smooth, silent drop that makes your ears pop twice. When the doors slide open, the warmth of the gala is replaced by the sterile, pressurized chill of the vault. This isn't a bank, it is the central nervous system of the global economy, a place that doesn't exist on any map, funded by budgets that are laundered through 1,000 shell companies before they ever reach a ledger. You walk down a corridor of brushed steel, your footsteps echoing with a rhythmic, lonely thud. You are one of the 12. You are a warden of the Meridian Council. Behind these doors, the concept of money ceases to be something people trade for labor and becomes what it actually is, a weapon of social architecture. The boardroom is a circle of darkness, illuminated only by the holographic glow of the terminal in the center. The other 11 are already there, silhouettes draped in tailored shadows. No one greets you. In this room, pleasantries are a waste of the one resource you cannot print, time. You take your seat at the 11 o'clock position. The air smells of ozone and expensive filtration. The High Arbiter, a man whose family name has been scrubbed from every public record since the 19th century, taps a glass screen. A map of Southeast Asia blooms in the center of the room, glowing in aggressive shades of amber and crimson. The Thai baht is fluctuating outside of the permitted corridor. A rogue billionaire is trying to corner the market on rare earth minerals, and his leverage is tied to the strength of the local currency. He thinks he's playing a game of chess. He doesn't realize he is a termite trying to eat a steel beam. Your task is simple in theory, but devastating in practice. You are the architect of the correction. You reach out and expand the data stream, your fingers dancing through trillions of dollars in dark liquidity, funds that have no origin and no destination until you give them one. To save the stability of the global mineral trade, you must break a nation's back. You begin the sequence, authorizing a massive, coordinated short sell of the bot through 400 different offshore accounts. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the psychology of the herd. You trigger the algorithms that will alert every major trading floor in London, New York, and Tokyo that a crash is imminent. You watch the numbers begin to bleed. By tomorrow morning, millions of people who have never heard your name will find that their life savings have been halved in value. Groceries will become a luxury. Small businesses will shutter. There will be riots in the streets of Bangkok. You feel a slight pressure in your chest, a ghost of the person you used to be, the one who still believed in fairness. But then you look at the larger map. You see how this correction prevents a global supply chain collapse that would have killed 10 times as many people in the long run. At least, that is what the council tells you. That is the lie you have practiced until it sounds like the truth. You press the final execute command. The amber on the map turns to a dead, cold gray. The threat to the mineral market is gone. The billionaire's leverage has evaporated. He will likely jump from a balcony before the sun rises. You move on to the next agenda item. The meeting lasts for 6 hours. In that time, you have adjusted the interest rates of 3 central banks, authorized a silent seizure of a tech giant's liquid assets, and moved the global gold standard by 0.02%, enough to shift the wealth of entire continents. As you stand to leave, the High Arbiter gestures for you to stay. The others file out in silence, their faces masks of cold indifference. When the room is empty, he looks at you. His eyes are like clouded glass, ancient and unblinking. He tells you there is a leak. Someone within the 12 has been contacted by an outside intelligence agency. Someone is thinking about going public. He doesn't say who. He doesn't have to. The implication hangs in the air like a guillotine blade. To know the secrets of the Meridian Council is to be a god, but gods cannot retire. They can only fall. You return to your penthouse in Zurich as the sun begins to bleed over the horizon. The city looks peaceful from this height, a toy set of lights and shadows. You sit in your leather chair and look at your phone. There is a notification from a news app. Currency crisis hits Thailand. Experts baffled by sudden market collapse. You delete the notification. Your hands are steady, but there is a strange heaviness in your limbs, a weight that no amount of wealth can offset. You think about the leak the arbiter mentioned. You think about the encrypted drive hidden in the floorboards of your secondary estate in Tuscany, the one containing the true history of the council, the list of every war they've funded and every famine they've engineered to keep the balance of power. You wonder if they know you have it. You wonder if the arbiter was testing you or warning you. The phone on your private line rings. It's a number that doesn't exist. You answer it, but you don't speak. A voice on the other end, distorted and cold, gives you a set of coordinates in the North Sea. There is a vessel that needs to be cleared for passage without a customs inspection. The vessel is carrying something that will change the face of energy production forever. Or perhaps it's a biological agent. At your level, the contents don't matter as much as the flow. You are the gatekeeper. You give the verbal authorization code, a string of nonsense syllables that overrides international maritime law. The voice hangs up. You realize you haven't eaten in 14 hours, but the thought of food makes you nauseous. You are full of secrets, and they are starting to feel like lead in your stomach. You spend the next few days in a haze of high-stakes maneuvering. You attend a summit in Davos, shaking hands with presidents and prime ministers who think they're the most powerful people in the room. You smile for the cameras, playing the role of the benevolent billionaire, while in your pocket you are sending encrypted messages that will devalue the very currencies these leaders are trying to protect. You see the world as a series of levers and pulleys. You see the Great Reset not as a conspiracy theory, but as a necessary maintenance cycle for a machine that is too big to fail and too corrupt to fix. You are the mechanic, and your hands are covered in invisible grease. One evening, you were approached by a young woman at a gala in Paris. She is a journalist for a major investigative outlet, and she looks at you with an intensity that makes your skin crawl. She doesn't ask about your latest acquisition or your philanthropic foundation. She asks you about a specific date in 1998, a Tuesday in October, when the Russian ruble took a dive that defied all economic logic. You feel a chill settle into your bones. That was the day of your initiation. That was the day you proved your worth to the council by sacrificing your own father's investment firm to save the euro. You give her a polite, rehearsed answer about market volatility and walk away, but you can feel her eyes on your back. You know what happens to people who ask the wrong questions. You also know what happens to the people who are seen talking to them. That night, you receive a package at your hotel. There is no return address. Inside is a single ancient Roman coin, a denarius. It is a symbol of the council's reach, a reminder that the system you serve predates every nation currently on the map. It is also a mark. It means you are being watched more closely than usual. You realize that your moral conflict is no longer a private matter. The council can smell doubt like a shark smells blood in the water. You think about the encrypted drive in Tuscany. You think about the millions of lives you've manipulated. You realize that you aren't a high-ranking member of a society that controls the world. You are a high-ranking prisoner of a system that owns you. You decide to make a move, not because you want to be a hero, but because you want to survive. You use your access to the Meridian terminal to create a ghost account, a pocket of liquidity hidden within the council's own dark pools. You begin to move small amounts of wealth, pennies in the grand scheme of things, but millions in reality, into an untraceable fund. You are building a lifeboat. But as you watch the data flow, you see something that stops your breath. There are other ghost accounts, dozens of them, all of them moving in the same patterns, all of them preparing for something. You realize you aren't the only one trying to escape. The council isn't just fighting the world, it's eating itself. The Great Reset isn't a plan for the world, it's a liquidation event. The 12 are preparing to burn the current system to the ground and disappear in the smoke, leaving the rest of the planet to starve in the ashes of a worthless currency. You are sitting at the table, but you are also on the menu. You look at the screen, the numbers flashing like a countdown. You have two choices. You can try to stop it, exposing the council and almost certainly dying in the process, or you can run faster than the others and hope you're one of the few who makes it to the new world. Your phone vibrates on the desk. It's a text from an unknown sender. The boat leaves at midnight. Don't be late. You walk to the window and look out at the Eiffel Tower. It looks so fragile, a skeleton of iron that could be knocked over by a stiff wind or a sudden rise in inflation. You think about the girl in the village in Thailand who can't afford medicine because of the correction you authorized. You think about the billionaire who jumped. You realize that the power you thought you had was just a lease. You never owned the world. You were just holding the leash for a monster that is finally getting hungry. You pick up your coat and head for the door. You don't know if you're going to the boat or going to the press, but you know that the you that walked into that gala in Zurich is already dead. As you step into the cool night air of Paris, a black sedan pulls up to the curb. The window rolls down just an inch. You see the glint of a silver ring on the driver's hand, the same seal as the Roman coin. You realize there is no boat, there is no escape. There is only the next meeting.